guys, DayGlow here. We're back on my bike again, and we're going to do a installation of a gel seat from Thisyline.
Alright everybody, so today we're going to be installing this Thisyline Gel Seat that is about a ½ inch in thickness. You can get it off of Amazon for about $25. Today we're going to be installing it onto this Suzuki S40, which is my bike. To start the process and take off the seat, we're going to need a 10mm socket and also an extender for your wrench, if you have that, a staple gun, a Allen key, which we use the 5 size, a pair of scissors, and of course, your favorite beer. Today, we are drinking a Mackenzie's Pumpkin Jack. If you haven't tried this, you should. Totally sponsor me, Mackenzie's. Thanks! So, to take off the seat, there are 3 bolts. There's this guy on the side, which you need your 10mm wrench for. There's another one on the other side, and then there is this back one that uses the 5mm Allen key. Let's get going. If you've never used an Allen key before, there are 2 sides. This one attached to the long side, and this is attached to the little short side. Use whichever one fits you best. In this case, it's the long side. Always righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. And a little bit goosey if you've had a few to drink. So, if you've never used one of these wrenches before, they have this little doodad here that goes left or right, and it'll help you crank the bolt. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. In this case, we want to go left, crank it, and it turns your bolt. Make sure it's in the right direction, always turning left. Now we've come on to the other side of the bike, the left side of the bike, and same thing. Look up under your seat, find the bolt, take it off. Can really see how this one is up on. Alright, so once you've gotten all 3 of your bolts out, this one is the back bolt. These 2 are the sides, and yes, they are mismatched because we obviously lost one before when we were trying to do something with this bike. It's okay though. You proceed onward, and the seat should now be free. There's a little tongue in the front here where it meets the fuel tank. You just want to lift it up, hold the tongue back, and now your seat is free. So here is what the bottom of your seat looks like. This is the front tongue. This is the back tongue where we took that little bolt out. On mine, you can see there's some LED lights that we have to finagle with, and we're trying to get down to this foam. This is the stuff that we are going to replace. So we're going to have to pry up all of the seating material, pick it out, cut the foam out, and replace it. We'll see how it goes. So now comes the fun part, which is trying to figure out how to get this apart and pull all of these staples out. One thing I didn't realize was to pull these little bolts out, which same thing though, luckily we just use our 10mm wrench. Take those guys out, and then we'll see where we're at from there. So, as per anything car related, you're going to learn really quick. It's a lot of trial and error, because I am not a mechanic, and maybe you aren't either. So, you can either try to use a screwdriver up under here. I'm not very good at doing that, but have your luck at it. Or maybe some pliers help you, kind of grasping each staple, pulling them out. Wiggling it free. And then putting it down into your metal container. Don't leave these out in your garage and get them in your tires, because that's something I might do. You don't want to make that mistake. Don't stress too much if you break staples. I've broken a lot of these so far, and it doesn't matter, because we are just removing them, and we're going to put fresh ones in. So yank those bad boys out no matter what way you want. These stupid ones are the ones that you go crazy over, because you can't reach them when they're behind these little bolts. And you start wondering, why did someone do this? Same on this side, nice and tight. After you've already made progress and gotten all of these guys out. Solution? Skip them and leave them for last, so you can be even angrier then, but you're also committed to the goals. Thick boy. Okay, as per the wrinkles here, you can tell that I've removed some of the staples. I decided that we should only remove half of them, this portion of the seat down, because obviously why remove these if we don't need to? Hopefully, since I'm saving my leather portion of the seat, I can just peel it back, replace this foam that's underneath the plastic, and be done with it. Let's peel this back and see what we have. Guess this is a water protective layer. Looks like it's tucked in a little. Oh gosh, hopefully we don't ruin it. Looks pristine. So we've unboxed our Thisyline. It has a layer of plastic around it. I'm not going to take that off. I think that is some sort of waterproofing layer that we need. So they recommend online that you just put the square on top of your seat where you would like to install it. Then you would cut around the foam, your square, take that foam out, and insert this in. So that's what we're going to try next. Okay, so per the directions online, it says to cut out the gel based off the shape of your seat. The back here is just my passenger seat. This is where my butt goes, so that's the part that I'm worried about. I kind of want to cut off these edges that are curved. You can see this is the edge of the seat. I don't want them going down to the foam or have to deal with that. So I'm just going to take a marker, mark those sides, and then I'm going to cut it, which makes me nervous. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, so now I've made my marks here, gotten my husband's approval. You always gotta get that second opinion. And you know, DayGlow here making the mistakes so you don't have to. Haha. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I'm doing it. Oh god, I'm doing it. Oh, irreparable damage. It's probably a lot easier with an X-Acto knife, just so you guys know. Damage has been done. There's no going back now. Ew, it's sticky. Okay guys, the damage is done. Not to the seat yet, we can still turn back. So basically now I'm going to take this marker, I'm going to trace the outside of my gel, find out the ideal spot for it, and then I'm going to cut into the foam, which is really the no turning back zone. Okay, so here's the result after tracing it. I am going to try to cut just inside this line, because you can always take out more after the fact, but if you take out too much in the beginning, you cannot add it back. So we'll see what happens. Oh god, making the first cuts. Definitely a lot easier with an X-Acto knife, which I don't have, because a lot of times I don't plan ahead. So, one thing is also make sure while you're trying to stay inside this line just to initiate, make sure you're only doing it as thick as our gel. We don't want to go too deep and make it so the gel isn't sitting on the utmost part where our butt is. So as you can kind of see here, I'm only really going as deep down as the scissor blade thickness, just so I can get a cut in and then see where I'm at from there. Oh, now I've cut around this whole perimeter here. And the next question is, how do I pull up this foam and only cut deep enough to fit in the gel pad? Your guess is as good as mine. So current strategy here is to just peel back the foam and cut across the foam as best as I can. If I had an X-Acto knife, I could probably peel it and go across like this. Maybe more dangerous than what I'm doing, not quite sure. This process is like shearing a sheep when you have no freaking idea where the sheep even is. Ha! 3/4 of the way there, and it's looking 50-50, maybe 75-20, 75 in favor of having to buy a new seat, who knows. Basically, I am shredding into layer 2 right now. And for the love of all things motorcycles, if you have any suggestions or a better way of doing this where you're not hacking it, this complete foam, and destroying it, leave a message in the comments. We'd all appreciate it. Okay, so final cutting in place. You just put the top of your seat cover back on just to check and see how you like it. There is definitely a little lip here, but I kind of want it to be a little bit raised just for an extra comfort level. And I don't really care, you know, how it looks necessarily because I'm keeping the stock cover on it. You guys might feel differently. This is what it looks like underneath. You can tell that it's a little bit raised up right here. But like I said, I think that's going to compress. I think it's going to feel good. And we'll see how it goes. We're apparently going to take this plastic off because it makes it sticky. I thought it was a waterproof cover. We reread the instructions and it just makes it glue in basically, so you don't have to add your own glue. We don't want to look under there, that looks horrible. Cover it back up and say good time. So once you've stuck your gel seat cover into place, you want to pull your waterproofing layer on top that came with the bike if your seat came with it. Mine did. And then you want to pull your cover back over. Stretch it back to the original shape to make sure there's no rough areas or areas sticking up, because you don't want to look silly with your little wrinkles. Ew. Pull it taut. There's probably still going to be wrinkles in this bike, but that's fine. Everyone makes fun of me anyway. Pull it nice and flat. And then we're going to flip it over and add the staples. You have all your staples back to place. You feel like everything looks good. Don't forget to reinstall this grab strap and make sure you don't forget the washers. I'm just going to hand tighten these because I don't think they need to be that secure. Make sure you install these so that the bolt side with the hexagonal shape is facing up, not like I just did right here with the flat side facing up. Otherwise, you will not be able to get it back off with a wrench. There's nothing for the wrench to grip onto. All done with this poor quality lighting, and we're ready to put the seat back on. First thing you want to do is make sure this white tab goes up underneath this little tongue here. It's your first step. You just want to slide it on. Got your tongue in your seat nice and flat. You want to go back here and install this rear bolt. This will just help make the process so much easier because your seat's at least aligned and attached at one point. Don't forget your Allen key. This part you might need a partner for to push on the top of your seat. This hole is supposed to align back here. So you really need someone to like help you manipulate the seat so this and this line up for you to put the bolt in. Another tool that you're going to want to have is this socket kind of screwdriver looking thing. And basically it attaches like a regular socket, but it allows you to get into those hard to reach places, such as our bolts up here. Much easier to do. Alright, here's the finished product. Yes, there's a little lip, but we're going to see how it rolls on our next long distance journey. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.